is a Dyson V11 Animal cordless vacuum cleaner. Technically, this is the second Dyson V11 that I've ever bought and paid my own money for. The first one was on the day of release and cost me £700, which I do horrifically regret, but we did some alright videos with it. This one, after the owner's wife fell over it and they didn't like it anymore, cost me £40, which I still think I overpaid for. Let us have a look, go through the laundry list of they all do that, sir, Dyson V11 issues that this thing has, work out what parts we need to buy, then we'll strip it down and get ready to give it a clean up, sell it and have it working once more. Let's have a look. Yes, hello, my vacuum cleaner and Dyson chums. How are you today? So, this is a V11 with the screw-in battery. This is quite key because they changed it to a clip-in battery, which then had a different trigger. So this is the era where the trigger does snap. This trigger is absolutely fine. The machine does run, although there is no airflow in it at all. We'll have a look. But otherwise, it comes with almost all the tools. I think it probably would have had a mini turbo head, but I'm not that fussed about that. I have a charger, the wall dock, a very used mini dusting brush, the tool holder, the combination tool, which still has its litter picker, which is very nice, and a crevice tool, which has been eaten by an animal. Oh, fantastic. Dang it. Then we have the wand, which is the first piece of scrap because there is no fixing that at all. Although, spoiler alert, we do need to keep it for, I'll show you that in a bit. Then we have the floor head, and it's immediately obvious that they're going to need to add either some better or some new wheels to our list because they are really bad, but otherwise the black brushes are still intact, the bristles are working, it's alright. I think that will clean up well. Then we come on to the main machine, which is going to require a new middle layer of the Cyclone because it is cracked. However, that's not really, there's no air coming out of it anyway. It's not really affecting matters because the main problem with this machine is that it is just absolutely disgusting. Let's check and see whether we need a new backslider as well. Oh, we don't. Excellent. Push the clip down and take this off. This little knob of plastic there breaks and then your bin will just fall off. So that's good. And I think the top scraper ring, I never trust them, even if they work fine. I've had them break when I've been reassembling them. And yeah, otherwise it's just been used for DIY, just like every cordless Dyson is used for. So I think the first thing we're going to do is just vacuum it off and see if we can perk it up at all. Let's use the Feed Tough Mini X2, which should cope with this fine dust a lot better than this is. And yeah, try and clean it up a bit and make that hole be a problem, hopefully. Oh. Okay, Google, turn the PC on. Just be that simple. The filter still needs a complete scrub, but there we go. Now that is causing issues, which is fine. That's, you know, expected. So I think if I can plug, God, there you go. I think it's been used for DIY. If I can just plug that hole with something, we might be able to give it a go. good old Blu-Tac. Other brands apply. This is the one that we happen to have. Almost like Sugru, but you know, you're not having to seal up an oil pan, so it doesn't have to be watertight. That it is. There's no air escaping from that, so hopefully, yeah. Oh, not clear up to Blu-Tac. This has a different head that my V11 had, and I think I do prefer this head. It's just a bit more, you know, gets the job done. The torque head with its blobby, weird rear part wasn't quite as, I don't know, didn't feel as bitey. Oh, there's still dust pouring out. And yeah, it has picked up a fair bit. I think we should trim the rug. But first, let us sort out this one. I have this, which is almost better, but sadly not. However, it's missing its clip. This one has its clip, so I'm hoping that I can pry this clip out, like so, with its spring. So that's the back end of this style, and the bottom goes in first, and I think the top should just, yeah, click into place. So now I can get rid of that one, and this machine can have, I don't quite know what model of Dyson this was from, let me know. It's just as wobbly and bouncy as the official one, or the original one was. That is just what they're like, and now we have a functional machine. Yeah, the wheels being so close to the back, I was filming something else, DC49 the other day, yeah, the back wheels just bounced into all the wheels, and they're just so warm. Let's put some dirt. We'll try some cornflakes, both whole and crunched up. See how well it does. I'll leave it on auto. Oh yeah, that works fine now. I want to try it on low. Do work well, as flimsy as they are and as hateful as they can be, they do pick up a treat. For £40, it's an amazing cordless vacuum cleaner, but it's not just going to cost us £40, sadly. Look, it picked up all that, and while I've gone back over the rug, it has picked up a ton more fine dust. I mean, in boost mode, this thing is quite insane. Difficult really. We can sit here and like this because we know that we're about to split it completely apart and clean it and make it nice, but if you spent actual money on one of these expecting it to last a while, you would have been bitterly disappointed. They're so annoying as vacuums. But I think this one is a goer, so let's come back when we're ready to put it back together, hopefully with some replacement parts. I guess we'd now best take all of this apart, ready to be washed. Yes, some things like the tools are quite simple. Take that off. I haven't got a better crevice tool at the minute. Annoying. Try and fix that another day. We can take this brush off, and then if I find my small little screwdriver, you can. It's a bit difficult, but there we go. Pop. There you go. Pop these bits apart so we can wash that like that. I shall wash the docks just because it's a bit dusty and it's easier with a brush. There's no electrics in that bit as well. Then we'll start with this. We'll take the filter off, and what I do is put my fingers on the joint just underneath this bit, and eventually, there you go, that one's just popped. You can pop out the 4 little locking tabs and take this bit off of this filter. Both need a good wash, but this is where the majority of the improvements will go. I'll get that done with the rest of this machine. Now we get to take apart the main unit, and it's a load of little crosshead screws first of all. 1, 2, 3 there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 around there. With all the screws removed, this bit separates from this bit, and look, there it is. The amount of times I've had people go, no, I've never used it for anything that it should have been used for, and then opening up to do the trigger or some other repair and find this. Always the way. Oh dear, never mind. Doesn't matter with this one because I bought it, so it's our problem now. We shall remove this part, and then I pull the seals off, because then you can clean all around underneath them and get into them. They're not too bad. You just have to watch this clip here. Get that off that. I don't take anything else off. Don't take this off. Leave all that and wash it entirely. Same with this bit. It doesn't need a trigger. I'm pushing on the bottom of the trigger and then on the trigger, and it's not flexing, so that is fine. This can just be airlined and brushed off, and we can turn all of our attention to this, which means that we need a T8. We'll start with this one singular screw here. This is how you replace this part. I've done a video on it. I'm sure many other people have as well, but yeah, if you just need to replace your back slider, split it, change this, back together, job done. But we're going to go further. We're going to remove these 4 screws under here. These are short little ones, and then we're going to go ahead and remove the 3 much longer screws that we can see here, because we now have to fight off the shroud. There you go. You can see the size difference in the screws. This is where we can see more dirt, because this bottom part here will now come off. Another 2 screws, and yeah, if it's really bad, this one's not too terrible. You will see a humongous pile of dirt fall out from all these little orifices, so that's a good sign. Well done, Mr. Previous Owner. Now I'm taking a very small screwdriver and poking it just up into that clip, and then we're going to push it up, and then once you've released this top bit, it can be a bit fiddly, we can pull the shroud down. I'm going to put this bit back on so our flex has as much room as it can. Oh, come on. This is very, very bound up in here. This is all the grit that holds it together. Don't miss a screw. No. Come on. What are you doing? You don't want to poke and pry too much, because you shouldn't need to. I think it's this side. There we go. Yeah, you've got to release that corner from in there, but whilst doing as little damage as possible. Now that that's out, and yes, this is actually very clean indeed. There are 2 screws at the top, and then sort of in the middle of both of these sides, 2 more screws. And you have to do it like this, because we cannot release our wiring straight away. 1 of those, 2 of those, pull them out of our way, because otherwise they'll fall out on the road in a second and jam everything up. Because we then need to push our shroud not all the way back on, but on enough to again give us quite a nice length of cable at the top, so we can pull all of this apart. Wow, that's clean. It almost doesn't need washing. Right, because yeah, we need to push this connector through from the back. I'm going to use a flat bit, and it's only held in with friction. There we go, that goes in there. Now that it's loose, we'll get a little pair of pliers just to pull on the pins. You can't just pull on the pins without making it loose first. And then we need to try and offer this all up to go as short as it can, so that we can pull this up as much as we can. Why are you not doing what I'm telling you? There we go. Oh, everything. Take the seal off first, because we don't need you anyway. We want to push you right back. There we go, because then you can pull this up like this. Push off this very important piece of packing, which we shall retrieve later. Open up the connector, and then from this angle, that is the way the wires go. From the other way, it's like that, and I always do it with the white on the left as I'm looking at it, so we can take this off, and then we can pull our top off. Then we can pull that out, and then we can take our shroud off. It's very fiddly until you've done about 100 of them, and then it makes a bit more sense. The rest of this is just these two plastic parts here, which are getting pushed together on the post. I think it's very off about how difficult that is to push off. And then we can take out this outer gasket, and then this more flimsy, so be a bit careful, inner gasket like so. And that is the whole machine split down, ready for washing. Obviously bar this bit, because we've got a new one of those coming. Now we can make a start on the floor head. Take out the roller. I cleaned all of this out at the end of the last video, the end of the last scene on this off camera, so that was nice and clean. We can pull back on our rear squeegee, like so. Yeah, here's where all the lifetime of hidden fluff goes. I'll pull that out, and then I use the squeegee itself to sort of rake through all of the bits of fluff that pack into this bit. And with that back part off, we have these 3 screws at the front, 2, 3, 2 screws in the back corner buried under a mountain of fluff, and then these 2 middle screws here, like so. And I'm going to get a separate screw pot, because these screws have a slightly different pitch to the machine screws, so I like to keep them a bit separate. Oh, and then I forgot the most important one. There's one little one in the middle there. There we go. I feel a blockage. You off. Come on, there's one last screw. Come join the party. You'll fall out in a minute, because now we get to pull this back trim off, like so. That's really a star screw. Then with that back trim off, we can pull this wiring out of its holder, and then separate this top shell. And yeah, this is then where you clean your top shell. The gasket will just fall out. You may as well remove it now and only have to refit it once, right? Because it will come off as soon as you start to wash all of this part. The neck pulls out of here, and then the motor housing can be removed. And yeah, that is the mechanicals really of the head. This bit, with again all of its little nooks and crannies full of gunk. This is a very clean machine. This machine hasn't been abused that much. It's a big dog, which is probably what all of its mess was. And then, because I've ordered them and they are in the post, we are going to remove these wheels now, so that I can throw them away in preparation and wipe all of out here. Crikey, this one's bad. Lovely. You can go there. You can go in the bin pile with that. Not washing that. We have a box of stuff. Let's come back when this is all washed up and dried up and looking a bit nicer, and we'll stick it back together. A little while later, we end up with a big pile of scrap. No, a big pile of parts, including a replacement lower Cyclone layer. I don't know what you call it, but I bought an entire spare Cyclone, which was very clunked up, for £6 something posted, which is perfectly reasonable for that. The wheels haven't turned up yet, but that will not stop us from reassembling this jigsaw puzzle. And oh my goodness, where do you start with a load of stuff like this? I'm going to start with the floor head because it gets rid of a load of pieces quite quickly, and this has not been cleaned properly yet because I'll do that when I fit the rest of the thing together. But you want to give all of it a nice clean down, a nice wipe over, and that will be good enough. Click that into there, make sure it spins. It all got an airline out. I just didn't wipe it down. Then you need to try and not twist these wires together too much, nor pull them out of there, which I sort of had done, but you can tell where it went from the indents from before. Here. There. This then just slots into the side of the floor head reasonably easily. Front in first, back in first, and then these two wires tucked back into that little slot there. Then we need to put all of the seal back onto our floor head top cover. Even when you take your time to push the flipping thing in, it's still just about barely falling out. But lift up this end so that the gap on this end closes nicely, and then pop this cover into position. Oh, there you get it, you see the seal will fight you, and if you're not careful, poke out of the side, which is very bad. Looks awful on a refurbished machine, but once you get it right, it should just drop on. There we go, just should drop on. Yes, there we go, click, and the seal is in place on either end, so we can quickly grab the front screws for now because you can't put the back screws in yet. And then you can let go. Marvellous. I'll do all the screws up in a minute. This wiring here, oh no, I have messed up. You see, I told you to be careful about the wiring coming out in this corner. Yeah, because if you don't, everything gets caught. So this needs to go down here and then through that channel there. Then we get to do all of that again. Fantastic. Then once the top plate is on, this wiring comes back up here, runs down its little channel, everything buttoned up, and this wire floating, not binding, nicely in that bit there. We can fit this back trim piece here, which you have to again bend around. Oh, look, straight in. Bend around that joint sometimes, but being a Dyson V11, this joint's quite wobbly and knackered now after a couple. Not knackered, no, I shouldn't say that. I want to sell this. It's just done a Dyson, so you have a little bit of stop. Sometimes it can be a fight. But again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. Next up, we can slide our squeegee back into the plastic housing, and then this smooth side goes front, back clips into the back. Brush roll, pop the end cap on, put the brush roll into place, and at least until the new rear wheels arrive, that is a rebuilt Dyson floor head. Fantastic. Right, let us start arbitrarily with these gaskets, and if you look, the machine sort of pushes into them, that size dimpled, that size flat. So what I always like to do is flip them round so the flat side goes where it's going to get pushed into again, just in case it helps. I mean, it can't not. I do the same with Dyson clutches when I flip the little black, like, clutch material type thing around so it has a nice fresh surface. It may help, it may not. So gaskets on, and yeah, push roughly into place. We can start to get things ready because we don't push that in there yet or there yet. What we sort of controversially need to do is once again slide our shroud up, but not click it into place so it's a pain to get out, up into position. I'm going to fit this now because it's a bit easier, and you'll see there's a notch on there. There is a corresponding little notch on this gasket here, so that, I don't know why, I've nothing really handed about it, but it's just flipped itself. I guess it helps align the corners up as they go around the screw threads. And yeah, this bit goes into place. It's just a little bit easier now because you end up screwing the whole thing together in one swoop if you do it this way. So I do this now and it's done. You don't have to worry anymore. Oh my goodness, all the way around into all the gaps. There we go. Feed the wires through the square hole and then push it out again, so you have as much slack as possible to push it through its last set of holes. Oh, come on. Push this down, and then this is all the length of wire that you have to play with, but it is enough. Oh, take our little clip, open the plug up, put the white wire onto the left, and they just sit nicely into the plug. If you give yourself enough room, it's quite an easy little job to do, to repin this connector. It's a shame they changed it for the current ones, because you really can't do that any more that I figured out yet anyway. Right, then we're going to push this packing thing on, and as fiddly as it is, it does just slide on. He says, struggling because it's on at an angle. Once this bit's in place, we can then lift the top layer and push the connector down. And I use something blunt like these needle noses to push in the middle of it and get it right down in there. Then, then we can pull this shroud back off of this inner cone, because yeah, you guessed it, now we have to put the whole top of this back together. Oh, nearly forgot to slot the inner cyclones back into place, and I have done that several times. Got the whole machine back together, tested it. They run with a bit of suction, you can't fully tell always, and then look back and seen that yes, I have forgotten to put that inner shroud piece in. And then holding it all together, take the first two long screws and just put them in the back again to hold everything together, so you can let the flipping thing go to do the next thing. And make sure that seal is pushed in at the back, because it can pop out as well. It's under my thumb at the minute. Marvellous. And then you want every alternate hole, so not the hole right next to it, that hole and the other hole. Then with the shroud clipped on, it just pushes down. You've got to try and put the slack from these wires down into that channel so that they don't get bound up. Pop this bit on for hopefully the last time, and then you want, and assuming that you haven't put a screw in the wrong place, these will push through these 3 shroud screws here, and then these 4 cone screws here, which you then have to go hunt the screw with, if like me you chuck all your screws in one place. There's one, because they're the only 4 Torx head screws on the machine that are this length. The other size, which is this shorter size, you can see the size difference in the screws, that's for the back slider. So again, you can chuck everything into a pot and figure it all out afterwards, especially when these 4 Torx screws are going to also be the filthiest, so it's easy to distinguish. Easiest time now to put this outer seal on, because otherwise you have to fiddle it around the back of the bin slide. So put that on there, and then yeah, the bin slide with its screw just goes on there like so. And there you go, you've just made your entire cyclone unit like brand new. Well done you. The next thing to really do, because we haven't touched the trigger, we haven't touched the motor, I have videos on those should you want to watch them, is slide this on here, and then we stick all of the crosshead screws in. 4 at the back, 2 there, and then I'll put the battery in, and that's the last 3. Voila! One hopefully ready enough machine. We best put the bin on, and to get this bottom seal on, you just want a little light spritz. We're not talking drench the thing, have it dripping wet. We're talking just enough that it's wet enough that it slides straight in. And then by the time you're giving it a wipe off, and this sits a day or two, well, only a day or two, you could use the machine now and it is dry enough. But in my use case, it's going to sit for a little bit while we wait for those wheels. So that can go on there. We can pull this bin seal, which isn't that fiddly, but if you stretch it, there we go, down the back, it just falls into place. And then, where are we? This can go into here, like so. We can take our lovely washed filter. This bit got a good long soak in hot boiling water, then went through the washing machine. This just got a good rinse in hot soapy water and then got dried because I don't like putting the back bit through the washing machine. That will clip onto there and then hopefully, yeah. Marvellous. We can check that our floor head still works. It does, because again, if you get those wires wrong that are, well, they're now there, then it's a bit of a pain in the bum because you have to take the whole machine back apart again. Ask me how I know. And then we really are on the home straight because we just got to put the tools back together. And there's the cleverest tool. Clip this bit back into, maybe top first. Yeah, top first. Into that bit. We'll clip the dot together even though I'm not going to use it, but it can be sold with the machine. Why don't you clip into place back? Hang on. There we go. And all we've got to do now is wait for some post. The final piece of the puzzle is ready to go back on. Not the set that I bought. I managed to actually figure out that I have this nice set of wheels on a scrap head. So the head got scrapped, the wheels came off. I shall put the other new wheels that will come from China in a couple of weeks, I imagine, thanks eBay, somewhere safe because we're probably going to want them again. This is a fairly common thing to have to do to all of them really. They all wear down. Look at your own Dyson, if you daily drive one, what state are its wheels? But these, you would never know that the wheels were pretty much ready to fall off. And that should be the last thing done to this machine. And before long we end up with this pile of high-end cordless vacuum. But have we improved it at all? Well, if I pop this little pipe with a bit of tape around it to try and seal this, we can stick it in boost and check. Very on normal. Oh wow! Yeah, you see on normal you get 9.8. And if I just go down to Eco, oh sorry. Well, about the same amount of airflow on Eco and normal. Boost rams it right up and then eats all your battery as well. That's fair enough, but I think this one is done. So what do you think of the now aging Dyson V11? Do you still think it's an alright buy, even if you have to go spend £6 on an entire spares part to fix the bin? I think so. They're still pretty decent, especially now that they're 30-40 quid, rather than £600. Far better value for money. This one all works well, ready to be sold, ready to go to a new lease of life, and we can await the next one. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope you might have enjoyed, and I and some other dingy Dyson will see you soon. Bye bye.